cool. This is what? What is this thing? It's a fluke. Look at all the eosinophils just wrapped around it. That fluke doesn't have a chance. The problem is, if this fluke is in the liver is also being damaged. Yeah? And then this is one of my favorite pictures. This is a large parasite. You can see the macrophages and the eosinophils coming in, and they're like, it's too big, we can't engulf this. So what they do is they attach themselves to it, and then they just send out cytokines to help bring more things. And then they're like, well, let's just take care of business right now. And then just start releasing grenades. So you have these lytic enzymes and these perforin enzymes, and the lytic enzymes hit, and they start to dissolve the actual worm, and the perforin enzymes land, and they drill a hole in it. This worm doesn't have a chance. It's going to die.
Is there videos of that happening?
I don't know if there is or not. Probably not. It's at the molecular level. Right? This is we're talking about this on an image that really has happened at a very small level. You could look it up though. Yep.
So if you only have like one worm in your body.
What part of the body?
Oh, I see. Okay. So if it was like in the stomach.
And then it's not gonna be in the stomach, to a center.
Right.
But in the small intestines, if it's there, you may not ever have a symptom. Except you might be a little thinner than usual.
Okay.
But if
So
you have
body
50
be
of
able to
them,
send
all of a
these?
sudden they're like, something happened. You start seeing blood and feces and things like that, and it's different. So you were saying, I'm sorry?
Well, so would your body be able to take care of it if it was one worm versus like 50? If it was 50, you need medication.
In what part of the body?
So like say it was like in a muscle cell.
Yes.
One of those, okay.
That there's a lot of things like that. It's called cysticercosis. And usually if it's in the cyst, they don't touch it because it's being protected by the cyst. But once it comes out, the immune system will destroy it. It's pretty rare in the United States to have a parasitic worm in your tissues. It does happen, but it's really rare. Okay? It's more likely that you will develop worms in the intestinal tract, especially the penguin, which is kind of a cute little thing, until you have it and it crawls out of your anus and you're like, oh hell no, I don't want it. Let's get rid of it. I can't imagine what Hejun would do if this happened to her, right? She might leave the country forever.
Roby, I would trust you with my brain. Because you're so smart.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I would, like, if I need brain surgery.
No, I would never do something I'm not qualified to do.
You're just so smart.
So we do know that the blood in us produces this fiber network. We call them nets, right? The nets are neutrophil extracellular traps, and they act like spider webs. Now they're not spider webs. I didn't say they were spider webs, but they act like spider webs, and they trap the microorganisms. And once they're trapped, the phagocytes can come in and just destroy them. Isn't that cool?
Neutrophilic
Extracellular traps. Mm-hmm. This is an image showing diapedesis, the white blood cells leaving the circulatory system and getting to the tissue of the body. Very important. I'm gonna ask about it on exam. Be ready.
What?
Oh, all of a sudden, like, exam. Oh, I heard it, exam, what? Right. You remind me of Vinny, you remember Vinny Barbarino?
Oh, yes.
You know who Vinny Barbarino is?
Yes.
John Travolta?
Yeah.
And he would not ever be paid attention, then he'd go, "Whoa."
In what was that? Well, what was that?
Up your nose with a rubber hose or something like that.
Wasn't that from Welcome Back, Kotter?
Oh, I don't know. Well, Vinny Barbarino was Welcome Back, Kotter.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, he was a carrot. Yeah.
I need to slow down.
Huh?
What was in my brain is processing like.
It's an old school Welcome Back, Kotter.
Well, we're just having fun.
Yeah.
I'm showing my age. Nobody except, I don't know, how do you know that?
What?
You're not old enough
Oh, I
to
used
know.
to watch Welcome Back. I even know Welcome Back, Welcome Back.
Wait, so we can repeat it or not?
What's that?
Oh, it's gonna be on the test.
Is it going to be on the test? Mita.
Oh,
Everything I ask is on, okay, I'm not going to ask about Vinny Barbarino on the test. But everything else before that, yes.
Well, yeah, like before when I had asked, because you were so fast.
The
You mean
defense of
nets?
blood.
Oh, just nets in
Okay.
It's nets in
What are
general.
nets?
It's the
They're
neutrophil
extracellular
We're gonna
Yeah,
talk about complement later. Let's now talk about, I talked about cytokines. What are cytokines?
the cell.
They're messengers that are sent by the immune system to recruit other immune cells and immunoproteins. Okay? So now let's talk about the immunoglobulin. This is the humoral part of the immune system. Okay? So immunoglobulins always kind of look like Ys. Are you with me? And there are 5 different classes of them. And a really good way to remember them is an old name, which is MAG. That's how my 9th grade teacher told us to read MAG. So there are 5 different classes. There are immunoglobulin mu, immunoglobulin gamma, immunoglobulin delta, immunoglobulin epsilon, and immunoglobulin alpha. Right? I'm gonna put them in order of importance. So IgM first, IgG second. Now it is the most important, but it's second. Why is that? Well, because it doesn't show up till after IgM shows up. IgA, IgD, and then the little guy, epsilon. Right? And so let's talk about what these things do after I go those. So they have specific roles in the immune response. You're not going to have to know them by morphology. Right? If you read about them, they'll call them dimeric or pentameric or whatever. You don't have to know them that way. You need just to know what they do. Okay? So let's talk about IgM. IgM is the early bird immunoglobulin. It shows up very early in the infectious process. And it can do several things. It can destroy pathogens. It can neutralize toxins. It can inactivate viruses, and it can fix complement. When we say fix complement, it means that it can initiate the complement cascade. So let me write these things down for you so you'll have them.
Do I need to know all that?
Oh, yeah. So it immunoglobulins. Oops. IgM, IgG, and IgA can all do these things. Number one, they can destroy pathogens. Second thing, they can neutralize toxins. Number three, they can inactivate viruses. And number four, they can fix complement, which just simply means they can initiate it. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay? So the difference then is size and when they show up and where they show up. So IgM shows up early in the infection. It has a short half-life, so it doesn't stay there very long. But it doesn't make a difference because the most important immunoglobulin is coming, and that is IgG. IgG comes in, it does the same thing, IgM, it just takes over, and it's for life. IgM is there for a short period of time, IgG is forever. Once it shows up, you have that immunoglobulin in your serum forever. Okay? So we all have libraries of immunoglobulins. And if we wanted to get tested for things, we could go and do a titer. Right? don't want to spend the extra money to do a titer. I'm just like, well, just give me the vaccine again. I'm okay with that because it's cheaper. Yeah. So, you know, $25 versus $200. I'm too pragmatic. Give me the vaccine again. I'm okay. Right? Not everybody's like that. Some people don't want vaccines. So, IgA can do the same thing. It can destroy pathogens, it can neutralize toxins, it can inactivate viruses, and it can initiate complement. But now IgA only does this in the mucous membranes. It doesn't do it anywhere else. Okay? Good? IgD is important. We think it's involved in signaling. Nobody's told me or wrote about it yet because I think it's just a little bit, we don't know about it. So IgD is found on the surface of beta lymphocytes, and it's found mainly in the thoracic and abdominal cavity. We believe it's part of the signaling mechanism that allows for the beta lymphocytes to do what they have to do. And then the last little guy is important. This is IgE epsilon. It is the hypersensitive immunoglobulin. What does that mean, Harlan?
Hypersensitive?
Yeah, what does that mean, Bree?
Can you say
Hypersensitive.
Hyper, so it's very active.
Good, and what does that mean though?
Like it's extremely sensitive.
Okay, good. Good. But what would that mean? Like for instance, if you were allergic to peanuts, what would happen if you ate peanuts?
You
Anaphylactic.
flow, anaphylactic.
You'll die.
Anaphylaxis. That's the role of IgE. That's what IgE does. Now IgE has never intended to kill you. It just overreacts. Are you with
So
me?
it's a drama queen.
Huh?
Drama queen.
It is a drama queen. That I would say, okay, fine. That's a drama queen for sure. It is there in such low numbers, you can't imagine that something is 0.002% of all immunoglobulins can cause this much destruction, but it does. I had a friend who moved down from Pennsylvania to live and work with us at J&J in Austin when I was working for J&J, and they bought a house in Hutto, and his wife was allergic to ant bites. If you're allergic to ant bites, in Texas, you never sit in the grass, ever. She sat in the grass, got stung by ants, and she went into anaphylaxis. He ran inside
Grab it.
to grab the EpiPen, and it wasn't loaded.
No.
And then there were no cartridges in the house.
Oh.
She died on the floor.
Oh my god.
By the time EMS and the ambulance got there, she was gone. So 15 minutes gone.
I thought everybody was allergic to ant bites.
No.
But
Because
yeah,
that's
where
why
she
you
couldn't
have a
breathe.
response to it.
Well, okay. If an acrobat ant bites you, you're gonna go eh. But if a fire ant bites you, you're gonna feel it, and you're gonna have these little pussy things
Correct.
that show up.
Mhm.
Well, that's because I'm trying.
Your antibodies.
It's not anything else, but it's because of the formic acid that's in their bite, in
Venom.
their sting. It's a different venom.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Kind of like a bee.
Oh, and by the way, fire ants don't belong here. They came here from
Right.
South America.
It was to kill something else, wasn't it?
No,
Brain.
it just came on ships,
Oh.
and then they crawled off the ship and said, "Let's just stay here."
They're assholes.
Oh, yeah. I would rather have ticks than fire ants.
Okay.
If you have ticks, that means you have no fire ants, because the fire ants will kill the ticks and eat them. Fire ants are only like they go up to about Arkansas and Oklahoma. They don't go further. It's too cold.
Yeah.
And so they're in Texas. They're in all the South. They haven't. Okay, so the desert Southwest. They haven't made it past that because it's just too arid. So they're kind of right now. They're only in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. But that's enough.
Yeah.
They're just terrible. Okay? Questions? So here, if you look at, you're not going to have to know this chart, but it really kind of tells you what's going on. So here you can see that IgG is makes up about 80% of all the immunoglobulins in your serum. Right? IgA about 13%. IgM 6%. It is a short half-life. It doesn't stay around very long. IgD about 1%, and then IgE 0.002%. But that's just enough to kill you if you're allergic to something. And probably peanuts are the most common things that people are allergic to.
Mm-hmm.
Good. My brother is allergic to Vespins. What's a Vespin?
Not
What
the
is it?
scooters.
Vespin.
I've heard of it.
Well, you're gonna learn something today.
It sounds like a scooter.
A wasp.
A scooter.
So my brother takes really good care of himself. He's
Fun.
very nicely put together. He works out all the time. He runs. He's very nicely put together. And he looks like macho. He comes in, and then if he sees a bee or hears a bee, he screams and he runs. I'm like,
Yeah.
because he knows. He knows what can happen.
Yeah, I guess.
He carries an EpiPen in his car. He carries an EpiPen in his little satchel, and there are 2 at the house. One in the refrigerator and one laying somewhere.
So Vespin or bees?
Wasps.
Huh?
Wasps.
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 Even if he's just around them or he has to?
No, it has to stay.
It's
But
the
he's not gonna let that happen. There you go. This is my favorite of all slides. Jeanette,
Yeah.
ask.
Do I have to know this?
So, here, you can appreciate is the first time you get exposed. And this is a total immunological response. IgM shows up first because that's what IgM does, but then it's replaced by IgG. And IgG stays for life. Yep. Then there's some period of time, it can be, I don't know, years. Some period of time, and then you get exposed to the same antigen again, the same non-self-indicator.
Bless you. Oh.
IgM does its thing, but there's no reason for it to be there because IgG completely overshadows its function because of what we call memory. Okay? Good? Isn't that cool? So, this is what can happen with antibodies. They can fix complement, they can initiate the complement cascade, they can form opsins, and when they form opsins, that means that the immunoglobulin completely surrounds the non-self entity. That way they're easy to phagocytize. They can form agglutination, right, and so then they're easy to destroy, and then they can really just kind of neutralize viruses or toxins. They're really great. So we make antivenoms and we make antitoxins against some of the more dangerous organisms. We have one against the rattlesnake, and we have one against, I think it's the
Like rabies too, right?
no, we don't have anything against rabies. We have a vaccine
Well,
against the
that's-
rabies.
okay, yeah.
That's different. But if you get snake bit by a rattlesnake,
You have to suck it out.
no, that does not work. You go to the hospital emergency room, and they will give you antivenom, and it will save your life.
What about like brown recluses?
The,
They don't have any.
I don't know that we have it against a recluse. And have you seen them?
I mean, we have.
I bring you one. I have a bunch of them at my house in Bastrop. They're all over the
Snake?
place.
I
Huh?
had
A snake?
Snakes and recluses, yeah.
Uh,
So I have a picture of
yeah,
a.
brown
I opened
recluses,
up
they're-
the water line to
you know, they're
do
spider
testing,
and
and I didn't notice him at first because
Yeah.
he was just still.
causes.
But I looked back down, and there was a coiled up copperhead ready to strike at me.
Ruby, I treated a patient who was in a rural area, and she came in because a brown recluse bit her nose, and all the cartilage on her nose started deteriorating.
Those
Because
things
causes-
are
Yeah,
bad.
it causes necrosis.
I would rather get bit by a widow than by a recluse.
That's a recluse.
Yeah.
And the widows hurt a lot more, but the recluse does a lot more
But the
damage.
thing is, she doesn't remember getting bit.
Nobody does. They're too small.
Yeah.
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 What, like in my house in Bastrop, it's very rare that I'll walk around
Yeah, girls,
barefoot.
they cause
There's just,
crazy.
there's just all over the place.
Yeah.
How do you prevent that from your like house?
Well, diatomaceous earth.
Got it.
I thought you were gonna bring some for us.
I'm gonna bring it for you.
Well, you said you had something for ants. You had some natural stuff you were gonna bring to give to us.
Did I say that? I don't remember. Christy, I don't remember saying that.
I mean, you didn't say it though, right?
So, this is complement. I only have 1 minute, so I'm not gonna talk about, we'll start with complement on Thursday. And then we will finish talking about vaccines. Then we'll start unit 5.
When, on Tuesday?
On Thursday.
Thursday.
Thursday after the test?
So your exam, no,
Wait.
the test is next Thursday. Exam 4 is next Thursday.
Give me a heart attack.
You know, we only have 4 more weeks.
I know, I was literally telling them, I'm like, I bet our exam's gonna be next